Thank you, Dr. Richard, for introducing me to the audience. My topic is PV technology, the industrial perspective. I work for this company, Indo Solar, which is just 25 kilometers away from here. And we are currently producing solar cells based on polycrystalline material at the capacity of 80 megawatt in one line, and another line which is going to go in production in another month's time of similar capacity, that's 80 megawatt per annum. Having worked in the PV technology area, as you might have seen from the introduction of Dr. Richard gave of mine, I was before that working in semiconductor technology, but since last 1 year I have been working in the PV technology area, and currently we are producing around 65 to 70,000 cells per day at 16% efficiency. What I have observed that in the PV technology area, silicon is going to be one of the star material for times to come. May it be polycrystalline, may it be monocrystalline, because present scenario also depicts that, and even future projections also give that kind of assurance that silicon can rule for a while before any other technology takes over. The basic reason for silicon being a preferred material is that the material itself is known for many years to the humanity and very well thoroughly researched by semiconductor technologists. Of course, PV technology developed on silicon is also as old as the semiconductor technology for the VLSIs or chips. But now the time has come when humanity has realized that this alternative source of energy has to be exploited because of the reasons known to all of you. Then the volume production has started coming in since last 2-3 years. And once this technology has gone in the drive of the volume production, many issues has cropped up, and those need solutions. And if these solutions are provided by the scientific community, by the research community, I am sure that silicon-based technology is going to be the mainstay of the PV industry. With that introduction, I will just give a very brief outlook of the market scenario. This is supplied by one of the consultants I supply in Germany. If you look at that, by 2013, it is going to be around 30 gigawatt of powers to be generated by silicon-based solar cells. This view graph also depicts the year-on-year growth, which was down in 2009, but it has again picked up, and then it will be around 60% by 2013. So there is again boom in this PV market, and a lot of requirement, a lot of understandings are required to provide to meet this large volume production needs of the industry. One very important thing to understand about PV technology is that this industry as of now is standing on two crutches. One is the government policies, and second is the government tariffs, government incentives. Without that, this industry cannot stand at its alone. Mr. Bhargava gave in the morning the talk, and then he told that what kind of the incentives per unit of the power generated by solar energy is required to be given, as high as 18 rupees compared to 3 rupees, 4 rupees at which we produce the electricity in India. So this electricity generation by this technique is still costly. So the only issue confronting the industry for this technology to be standing at its own is the cost and the cost and cost. The cost has to be driven down. And for driving down the cost, there are going to be two major candidates which have to be worked upon by the scientific community, research community. The first one is the material and the scale at which it has to be produced. So the equipment manufacturers, they have to bring the scale. The material people have to bring down the cost of the material. And second is the technologist who can work on the technology which can improve the efficiency. Higher the efficiency, lower the cost of production per unit. Here is some kind of projection given again by our consultant iSupply. In 2009 to 10, you see that it has reduced by 40%. This is the year which saw the very sharp decrease in the prices. This is module price, $2.5 per watt. And then it has gone, it's going to go to $2. Actually, in fact, already it is below $2. This is a little bit older projection. So this is going to go down, and by 2013-14 it is going to be $1.5, even less than that per watt at the module level. Module level is the final level where you start putting them together and build the system for generating the powers at the megawatt scales. This kind of cost goals which are required for this industry to be viable to a certain extent. Still at that stage also it is not going to be standing at its own. It will be requiring still further reduction of the cost. And the final goal should be $1 and less than $1 per watt at the module level. Once this reaches to that level, perhaps this will be able to compete with some of the technologies, the conventional technology like thermal, coal-based technology, petroleum-based technology, and then this will begin to stand at its own and won't be requiring the government supports all over the world. Before I come to telling you that what kind of technological innovations or research directions are required to help the industry to stand on its own feet, I would like to just run through this technological spectrum given in the PV arena. They call it silicon or gallium arsenide with wafer-based solar cells as a first generation cells. I don't know why it is called first generation solar cell. The reasons I have not been long enough in this technological area. To my mind, it should be the first generation, second generation and third generation as well. Because a lot of technological innovation are required to be done, wafer-based silicon solar cells or gallium arsenide solar cells, and take it to the industry to its ultimate heights. So, to my mind, this silicon wafer-based solar cell technology is going to stay on for many years to come. Of course, the second generation technology I have been observing has been coming in force and then going on off the steam, but again coming back in the steam. That is amorphous silicon or CIGS or CDT, the thin film based solar cells, where the basic drive is to reduce the material consumption for making per watt of the power. But this technology has the problems of course it produces at the lower cost per watt, but at the same time it requires larger area because the efficiency is not high. The third generation technologies are going to depend on silicon nanostructures, quantum dots, etc. This is very exciting areas, and there could be breakthrough, there could be disrupting concepts coming out of this third generation of technologies. But however, before it comes to the volume production, this may take some more years. So my concentration will be basically on the wafer-based silicon solar cell. What strategy in the technology development should be adopted as per my view is that should concentrate on solar cell efficiency, cost of production, cost of investment, and total cost of ownership. So the technological research and development in silicon wafer-based solar cell technologies have to address these issues primarily. So as I said that initially there are three issues involved in this technology, and those three are the cost, and cost. Let's have a look the different kind of solar cell structures. What I want to bring out in my few slides ahead is that very exotic technologies in the PV are not required. The PV technologies have to be simple, have to be implementable at large volume, and have to be cost effective. These are the three major considerations for any technology which is being developed to generate electricity out of the photovoltaics. The first one here shown is the conventional, very conventional solar cell, and still the 90% production is around this kind of solar cells. Very simple technology, which I will describe in the few other slides. Very simple 8-9 steps compared to VLSI technology. Really very simple steps are required to manufacture a silicon solar cell. You can look at that. You can start with a P-type wafer and then diffuse in that N-type junction, and then after that metallization is required. The Saturn cell, Dr. Richard is here. A lot of work has been done in their laboratory, UNSW. They have been pioneer in bringing out the highest efficiency cell in the world. I will be talking about the next slide. This is the same structure which they have developed. The Saturn cell, if you see the next to this is conventional solar cell. This is basically involves the selective emitter technology, wherein you see that there are emitters of two types. One is the heavily doped, one is the less heavily doped, and this is contacted. This technology is definitely coming of its research arena and now going to be the volume production technology. There are a few companies have started already production. We also plan to start this technology in our second line. The heat technology was a proprietary technology of Sanyo. Now it has been freed and people can work on that. There's the local aluminum BSF technology, which is also not very volume related technology. The last one, the sun power technology, which is back contacted technology, has been a very beautiful technology brought out by the semiconductor technologies of Cypress industry, but this has remained with them because this requires very specific type of module manufacturing technology, and because of that it cannot be used as very large volume, and there is not large community which can make the modules. So they have to produce the cells, they have to make the module and then sell it. So this technology has not got proliferated, but beautiful technology. The point I want to make by showing this cell, which is the best cell so far produced in the world at UNSW. Dr. Richard is here, he must be very much aware of this cell. Point I want to make over here, you see that this gives the highest efficiency. From the VLSI standard, this is also not very exotic process, but from solar technology point of view, solar cell manufacturing point of view, this is also very luxurious technology, because this cannot be afforded by large volume production because the cost will be very, very high. Look at this, it is a very simple technology, P-silicon, a emitter is made, but at the top of it, the two types of emitter are made, and the connection is made through the laser fire contact or lithographic process. Wherever there is a selective opening of the window comes and contact has to be made through that, the technology becomes costlier, because that's a lithography process, and so far PV technology has been saying no, no, no to the lithography processes, because you need very costly equipment, you need very precise ways to do that, and that's why this kind of technology so far has not been very popular for volume production of silicon solar cells. On the back also there has to be a kind of selective etching, because the contacts are through the oxide layer. These oxide layers on top and bottom both are acting here as a good passivation layer, and because of the good passivation you get very good efficiency over here. But the question is implementation. Can it be implemented in cost effective manner at the very large volume? Similarly, this is another technology which is being talked about today, that front is texturized, but with the improvement in the laser technology, one can make the grooves in the top ARC layer and diffuse the second emitter, N++ emitter, by laser itself. This kind of technology is now have started gaining ground and getting mature slowly. There's sitting here some people from the Manj technology, the Arath and Rao people have started promoting this technology, and possibly this may come into the volume production. The metallization scheme is also in this change. The copper plating you can look at, and then copper nickel seed layer is plated here, and that's how this metallization is done in this technology. So this is a selective emitter technology, relatively simpler, but again it requires the plating technology, and plating technology it has got its own O's and own problems. Because in our present manufacturing plant, I would like to tell you that we have a very conventional polysilicon crystalline cell technology, but we have a plating technology. After the screen printing of the contacts, we are plating the additional silver by light induced plating, what we call it. And we know that what are the problems with that. So the plating technology involved in this, which has its own problems. This is another kind of technology which is being worked upon. This is N-type solar cells. They have their own advantages, and this is still to come, and a lot of issues have to be solved. Rather than going in quite greater detail of these technology, what I would like to bring out to you that very important thing is that let's see that what are the issues involved and how those issues can be addressed at research and development level by the technologists and solve and bring the solution which is economically efficient and can be implemented at large volume. That's the key point which I wanted to make through this presentation. If you look at the losses which are associated with the silicon solar cell are here of three types: by resistance effects, there is a series resistance involved of the contacts of the connections, the grid itself, then contact resistance involved, and then the sheet resistance is involved. So through these resistances there is a loss of power. So effort has to be of any research to first minimize these losses, which are through these different kind of resistances. Second category of losses are by recombinations. The carriers which are being generated inside the silicon solar cells will recombine if it is not collected within a particular frame of time. So if it is not efficiently collected, then it will recombine. And there are three major recombinations methodologies. This is a bulk recombinations, and there is surface recombinations and contact recombinations, which is not shown over here. So these recombinations have to be reduced. The third type of losses are the reduction in the absorption or utilization of the optics light into the solar cell in generating the carriers. That is through shedding, through reflections. So reflection has to be minimized. Technology have to be developed which can minimize the reflection, which can minimize the shedding. The shedding is also dependent upon that how wide contacts you want to have to collect the carriers which are generated in the silicon solar cells. And of course absorption have to be improved. So the ways and means the technology has to bring in the methodologies by which absorption of the light is improved. Now how do we do? This is the very simple flow of process flow through which nowadays large volume silicon solar cells are being produced. Just simple 8 process steps. First do the acid texturing, do the P-diffusion, and once you do the P-diffusion, it's a global diffusion, so you diffuse from the sides as well. So you have to etch from the sides what is called edge isolation. But of course you have an oxide layer over that while you are diffusing, so you have to remove that. That's a PSG etching. And after that, you have to deposit some anti-reflection coating. It could be silicon nitride, it could be silicon dioxide. More popular is the silicon nitride by PECVD technique, RPVD technique. And then metallization, through which you collect your carriers and connect to the external world, connect to the another cell to make your modules. In our process, as I described, we use the plating as well, what we got light induced plating, to improve upon the screen printed contacts. Okay, I will like to finish it. So, and of course you have to do the testing as well. So if you look at this, the first process and the ARC deposition process, these two processes are basically to improve the absorption or reduce the reflectivity of the light which is falling upon the silicon solar cells. And there are different techniques, different methodologies are being developed to improve upon this. Different kind of texturing techniques are coming into the by the research laboratories, and then ARC deposition techniques also being improved upon, different kind of things. And of course diffusion is a very age-old process and very well known and very well understood in the semiconductor technology. There the selective emitter is the newer phenomena, which is right now not being employed because again to save the cost. Otherwise this is how it should be done. I will not go in detail of that. So these are the 2-3 areas. The metallization is the other area. So basically there are 3 areas where one has to concentrate who is working in this technological development area, this texturing or this anti-reflection coating, where absorption and all that can be reduced, metallization, and of course the passivation. The passivation of the surface on both on front and back so that recombinations can be minimized. So all the efforts have to go into that direction, but the point has to be kept in mind that it has to be cost effective, it has to be implementable for the production at very large volume. When we talk about large volume, we are generally talking about, as I told you, our facility itself is the largest volume one line in the industry today. That's 80 megawatt. We produce 80 megawatt per year from one line. So that kind of volumes are being talked about. People are talking about 100 megawatt, 200 megawatt lines. Now, so more or less I have covered all this. So for reduction of surface recombination, these are the technologies. Reduction of loss in series and condensation, these are some of the technologies. And for reduction of loss by shedding and reflections, these are some technologies which are being pursued in the industry. And once they come into the picture, they will reduce the cost, increase the efficiency. I will not go in details of these, each of the technology. A little bit about selective emitter. Selective emitter is required technology today by the industry, but then again the cost is becoming issue, and there are different kind of things are being talked about. So there is inkjet kind of technology, there is a etch paste being used through the silicon dioxide, there is a edge laser ablation technology. So which one is going to be winning technology is not very sure, but of course as far as we are concerned at our industry, we are betting upon the inkjet printing technology, and soon maybe second line, which is again 80 megawatt line, we will be introducing this selective emitter technology. N-type monocrystalline silicon solar cell I talked about, that's being developed again UNSW and some other industries along with them. Dr. Richard can tell more about that. Then thinner cells. There is a lot of effort going on in different places to make the cell thinner and thinner. And the people are using different kind of technologies like just doing the plating and peeling off the silicon and then working on that, making cells and all that. So there are different ways. But it has to be large volume production worthy. Still there is no technology as such available. Nickel and copper plated solar cells is going to be cost effective. Okay. Last slide is that I can go to thank you. Thanks.